everybody, welcome back to another video. So this specific video is on the wave analysis feature inside of the graph settings. So I'll be explaining everything step by step and trying to show examples that where you can use that particular tool. Okay, so first of all, we have the projection of waves, right? And here is how it looks like. So I'm going to zoom in right here, trying to show that how it's like supposed to work, right? So here we have the projection of waves. Like the name suggests, you see projection of waves, and these waves actually show the price action that the price could follow, right? If I could put it in another way, so basically it's trying to show you a path that price can follow. So if I look at this wave right here, so it's trying to show that from this low right here, we should be seeing, if the price follows this particular wave, we should be seeing the high somewhere around 433.58 on Avgo. I'm using Avgo Wave 7 Daily for an example purpose, if that makes sense, right? So it's trying to show you a path, right? And the price could follow this path right here, which is more aggressive for the upside, and potentially move like this. And like this is a decent wave, like it's going up near the 50% band, so it requires a squeeze, right? This move right here might not require a squeeze because it's taking a lot of aggregations. And there's also a tool inside of the graph settings, inside of the wave analysis, that can actually show you that like how many aggregations can it take to reach that particular wave high. Right here I'm going to click on the label wave feature, right? So I have it on now. So basically now I can know that approximately, according to the fractals, in how many days can we actually reach the high, right? The high of what? The wave. For example, if I take this easy example of this wave right here, it shows 15 aggregations and the date is January 7 for us to reach the high, basically Avgo to reach the high of this wave. And this doesn't need to be true 100% of the time. It just using the past data right here of the 200 days, trying to give us a sort of a path and kind of an idea that how many days can it take to actually trace that path, right? So here it can take 15 aggregations from this low. So right now we have made 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So basically we are left with 8 more days to actually reach this high right here, right? It's not possible, I know. So it doesn't has to work 100% of the time, if that makes sense, right? So that is how the label wave works. Now the next we have is the average slash mean wave. This is my favorite. Okay, so why is it my favorite? I'll get to that part. So first of all, I need to explain that what it is. Now it is also like showing you a path that the price can follow, but this one's a bit special. So basically imagine that you have a lot of data and you want to know like an average value, right? That can give you, for example, right here we have all these waves, and you want to know that what kind of positioning I'm looking for the high of this cycle. So according to the wave analysis, how is the wave analysis formed? Basically using all the like all the cycles above the pivot in the past 200 days, right? We are using 200 days of data, right? So here this is trying to show a projection of the price in the past using the past 200 days of data. And now here we have all this projection. Now if we try to average it out, basically we don't need to do the maths, right? The fractals is doing that for us. It gives us the mean wave. So mean wave is like the average of all these waves in simple words. Okay, so that is why I like it. It gives me like an idea that, okay, so in the past 200 days in this particular cycle, I can expect a bit more aggressive move to the upside. Why? Because the mean wave is around the 50% band. And right here, the 50% band, like the price right now is 348.20, and the 50% band is around 396, let's say 400. So that's like $50 worth of move that's possible. That's like the mean wave is trying to show to me. It doesn't have to work out, it's just an idea, right? You need to do your own analysis, right? So that is how the average slash mean wave works. That is why I like it. And usually when the mean wave is above the 50% band and near the 20% band, that shows that there is a high fear for upside. Basically, the market makers are preferring that direction, and yeah, basically there is more chance that we see the price going to that direction, if that makes sense. Next up, we have the display hollow boxes. Now, I do not consider this a very useful tool, but it actually shows like where the high and the low will form using these waves, basically. So it's trying to show me that, say that the price follows this wave right here. I'm going to be using this wave as my example for everything, right? This wave right here. So it's trying to show me that here we will form the high, and that should stay the high of the cycle, basically. And then if we do see the price following that wave after that high, we should be seeing the price going to around 29 aggregation, basically 30 days after this low right here, if that makes sense, right? So it's also showing me the high and the low if the price follows that particular wave. I hope that makes sense to you. Next up, we have the hide wave when the price moves beyond. So basically, if the price crosses the high of a particular wave, like this one right here, the price crossed it right here on this H2 value. So it's not going to show me that wave as I click on it, right? So it disappeared. So I do not see it anymore. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? So next up, we have the wave projection bands. Now for the wave projection bands, I'm going to click on display hollow boxes, and it's going to make more sense. So basically, it just tries to show like a projection of all these highs and the lows, right? That is formed by the display hollow boxes, right? And as I explained, these hollow boxes is just like an idea. It doesn't have to be true, right? It's just trying to show you a path for the lows. So it's trying to show me that, okay, we should form a low here, 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 and then here, and then here, if the price perfectly follows the wave analysis. And of course, there's always some kind of inefficiency in the market, so it's not going to do that. So do not expect that 100% of the time, okay? Next up, we have the hollow boxes labels. So these labels are, if I click on the label, okay, so these labels actually show the high and the low for basically these boxes, right, that we saw earlier, display hollow boxes, and then it shows the high and the low of that if the price follows that way, right? So for example, for this one, if the high forms right here, so it's trying to show me that the price needs to stay in this cycle, so it will go to a high of 413.76 and the low of that candle should be 413.78. I hope that this was the basics and it makes sense to you. I mentioned that in the past 200 days of data we see the wave projection, right? Now you must be thinking that if I increase the amount of days to load, for example 500, the number of waves to increase, right? So that is why this is all done by using the historical data inside of the fractal system. Now if I go to 1,000, I'm gonna see more amount of waves, right? If I zoom in, you can just compare to 200 days of data. You can see that we have multiple waves. So where is this useful? This is useful where like market is in the outlier conditions, like around this above the 50% band, and then you want to know that, okay, according to the wave analysis, where should I see that the price is gonna just collapse, or I should say is gonna form the high of this cycle, right? So it's somewhere around here, right? Three waves are actually forming their highs right here in this area, or somewhere right here, right? So it's trying to give you a sort of an idea, right, where we could see resistance according to the wave analysis. I hope that makes sense. Now the wave analysis works just the same for every single time frame. So this was all about the wave analysis that I had to share with you guys. Now if you got more questions, please leave comments. We will be attending to them. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.